Rams from the Western Division of the National Football Conference and the Minnesota Vikings from the Central Division of the National Football Conference. Both teams must win to retain leadership in their respective divisions. The teams have met 16 times, including last year's Western Division playoff. The Minnesota Vikings have won 9, lost 6. There has been 1 tie. The Los Angeles Rams in white will kick off. The Minnesota Vikings will receive. The deep men are Clint Jones, number 26, on your left, and he is the swiftest and the speedster of the 2 deep men. Charlie West is the other man. David Ray will kick off for the Los Angeles Rams. So we will see Minnesota on offense as we get the game underway. David Ray of Alabama, a second-year man who did quite a job in Green Bay for the Rams, kicked a vital field goal to help them win it. The kick carries to the 4-yard line where Clint Jones takes it. And Clint comes back to the 24. He may get some more room. He does. He gets up across the 25. So it will be the Minnesota Vikings ball, 1st and 10, as Clint Jones, with a fine second effort, brought it back to the 25-yard line. The rain, a very light mist, is continuing to drift down across Metropolitan Stadium. The crowd a little late getting here. Now, to check the offensive unit for the Minnesota Vikings, the quarterback will be Gary Quazzo, number 15. The running back, number 41, Dave Osborne, and number 32, Oscar Reed. From the 25, 1st and 10, Minnesota. Osborne is at the 30, or close to it, as he comes over at the right guard, and he is following Milt Sunday and Ron Yeri. Sunday, number 64, Ed White, number 62, are the Minnesota guards. The center is number 53, Mick Tingelhoff. The tackles are Grady Alderman, number 67, and Ron Yeri, number 73. The wide receivers, number 84, Gene Washington, and number 27, Bob Grimm. The tight end is number 87, John Beasley. 2nd down and 6 from the 29. And Quazzo is back to throw. He swings it out to Osborne. Osborne, who is a very nifty runner, moves very well on the damp turf and gets up across the 35-yard line for what appears to be a 1st down for the Minnesota Vikings. He was brought down by Coy Bacon, number 79. It is close enough for a measurement. The chain gang will come on the field. Fred Silva is the referee. The umpire is Ralph Moorcroft. The head linesman, George Murphy. The line judge, Bill Wright. The back judge, Hugh Gamber. And the field judge is Jim Cole. And while the measurement is taking place, let's take a quick look at the white-clad Rams defense. You will get the sign here and hear the roar if it is a 1st down, and it is. On defense for the Rams, the fearsome foursome. Number 75 is David Jones. Number 74, Merlin Olsen. Number 72, Tyrone Talbert. Number 79 is Coy Bacon. The linebackers, 32, Jack Pardee. 66, Myron Padios. 55, Maxie Vaughn. The secondary, Clarence Williams, 24, Kermit Alexander. 39, cornerbacks. The safeties, Richard Pettibone. 17, Ed Metter, number 21. Okay, 1st down, Minnesota at the 36-yard line. The play goes inside, testing the fearsome foursome, Oscar Reed. He found very little room. He was greeted by number 32, linebacker Jack Pardee. We've talked a great deal about defense at the outset of this ball game. I might remind you that the last time there was a scoreless tie in professional football was November 7, 1943, between the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions. 2nd down and 9 for the Minnesota Vikings from the 36. Quazzo is back to throw. The Rams overrun him. He's away at the 40. Beasley throws a block to get him up near midfield. So an alert play by Gary Quazzo. He is finally run down and knocked to the turf by number 32, Jack Pardee. That will be a Minnesota 1st down at midfield. So Gary Quazzo, who moved into the starting quarterback job for the Minnesota Vikings with the shift of Joe Kapp over to the Boston Patriots, picked up 14 yards and the 2nd 1st down for the Minnesota Vikings in this ball game. This is Keith Jackson along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith from Metropolitan Stadium as you watch NFL Monday Night Football on ABC. 1st down, Vikings, midfield. Quazzo to throw. He throws for Bob Grimm, number 27, and the pass is too high, defending Kermit Alexander for the Rams. The temperature will settle into the 50s, perhaps even into the high 40s before we are through here tonight. As this rain continues, a beautiful morning, but the rains came just about dark. The 5-game statistical story on Gary Quazzo as he comes up on 2nd down and 10 for the Vikings. The pitch to Oscar Reed. Gets away in the backfield from Troy Bacon, and then he is finally dragged down. The football is fumbled. Rolls to the sidelines, and Los Angeles Rams' Kermit Alexander picked up the loose football, and it's going to be Rams ball. So the wet football slides loose as Oscar Reed was hit hard on the sideline, and Alexander, trailing the play, picked it up. This telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Vikings Football Club, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings Football Club and National Football League is prohibited. So the break for the Rams, first down at their own 49-yard line on Alexander's recovery of the fumble. Roman Gabriel is the quarterback. Les Josephson, Larry Smith are the setbacks for the Rams offensively. Gabe back to throw on first down. Throws to Jack Snow. Snow on the sidelines is shoved out of bounds by Ed Sherrockman of the Minnesota Vikings. And now let's very quickly, number 84 is Jack Snow, run down the Rams offense. The other wide receiver, Wendell Tucker, number 14. Roman Gabriel, number 18, the quarterback. Larry Smith and Les Josephson are the setbacks. Along the line, 73, Charlie Cowan, and 76, Bob Brown, the tackles. The guards, Tom Mack, 65, Joe Cervelli, 71. The center is Ken Iman, and the ball is at the Vikings 30-yard line, first down, 21 yards on the pass play. Ball is loose. The pitch to Les Josephson. It squirts around, and Minnesota comes up with it.
Would you say, John, that two quick fumbles show a little bit of tension on the part of both clubs?
I think that's primarily the reason, Howard. When it rains like it is right now, of course, that's the thing that everyone says does cause a great deal of problems in ball handling, and it certainly does. That was not a real good pitch back to the fullback that time. It looked like it was a little bit hard, but I'm sure they are excited.
Alan Page comes up with the recovery. I think Jim Marshall also had a hand in it. The Vikings ball, first down at their own 31, first quarter. In to Osborne. If he got back to the line of scrimmage healthy, he was lucky. Tyrone Talbert, number 72, defensive right tackle, made the stop for the Rams. Second down and 10, Minnesota from their own 31. No score, first quarter. Rams jump, Merlin Olsen making contact. Perhaps he was drawn off. Waits for the referee. Nope, he was not. Olsen anticipating offside.
That'll be one of tonight's interesting matchups, John, as you know. Marilyn Olsen against Sunday. And Maryland feels he didn't do a good enough job against him last year in the title game.
Second down, 4. Vikings ball just outside the 36. Quazzo pitches to Osborne. Side, and there the pursuers get him.
Both of the defensive philosophies of these teams are very similar. As Keith pointed out at the top of the game, they rely a great deal on their front four to put on a good rush and contain the running game. Their linebackers' main responsibility is to drop to an area and cover area coverage, and also the pursuit that these linebackers give. As you saw that last play, it's also a very instrumental thing in defensive coverage as far as the end sweeps are concerned.
The man the Rams called the Secretary of Defense, David Jones, made the last tackle. Loss of 3 yards. Third down, 7. The ball is back at the 33-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. John Beasley, the tight end, slips into the flat, makes the catch, gets up across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Eddie Metter, free safety number 21, made the tackle for the Rams. It's close to a first down, and it is a first down for the Minnesota Vikings, their third.
As I visited with Quazzo before this game, one of the things that he did tell me, he says the Rams have had a tendency in the past, anytime they played against me when he was at Baltimore, to blitz more than they show their tendency. And you saw a blitz there rather early in the ball game. We may see that later on.
First down, Vikings, ball at their own 41. Bob Grimm is wide right. Quazzo has it. He looks. He throws back to the other side to Oscar Reed. Reed had it in his tummy and dropped it. Reed had it right in his hands, getting coverage from Myron Padios, and he dropped it.
The Viking fans holler, give the seed to Reed, and that time the seed was either a little wet or Reed couldn't hold on to it. The ball was a little bit underthrown, but it did get there, and he just dropped it. He was man-to-man on the middle linebacker, Myron Padios. Occasionally that happens when a roll-type pattern comes out. He came out of the backfield. That was Padios' man for man. That's a good matchup if you can get it every time.
Bill Brown is in the ball game, replacing Reed. Bill Brown needs just 22 more yards to become the 13th man in history to gain 5,000 yards in the NFL. Quazzo on second down gives it to Bill Brown. And Brown strikes from the 41 to about the 49-yard line before Maxie Vaughn, number 55, makes the tackle for the Rams. The boss man of the Rams, George Allen. Third down. Call it 3 yards to go for Minnesota for the first down. They are at their 48. Osborne. Albert had a piece of him. Merlin Olsen also in on it. Short of the first down. A loss, in fact, of 2 yards. It'll be 4th down for the Minnesota Vikings and 4. And the Vikings will have to kick it away. Alvin Heyman, one of the most exciting punt return men in all of football, is deep for the Los Angeles Rams. Tom McNeil, number 12, will punt for Minnesota, averaging 42 yards per punt. A 2-man rush. The kick is away. A beautiful kick. Heyman. Fumble. The Vikings may have it. Inside the Rams 20, they do. The Minnesota Vikings have the football inside the Rams 20. Kent Kramer, number 89, on the ball. NFL Monday Night Football continues from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, with our score, Rams nothing, Vikings nothing.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me.
I, Len Dawson.
I, Joe Cap, have switched to Gillette Platinum Plus blades.
Have switched to Gillette Platinum Plus blades.
Because they shave me closer and with more comfort.
Well, I can only speak for Gillette Platinum Plus injector blades.
That's true for double edged, too. Take my word for it.
Why should I?
Oh, come on, guys.
Gillette Platinum Plus. Harder than stainless, more durable than chrome. For the shave you've always wanted, and more.
Hey, where's Joe Cap?
I think he went to change his uniform.
Zenith took the world's most revolutionary color TV system, Zenith ChromaColor, and built in a more powerful, handcrafted chassis. Plus, a more brilliant ChromaColor picture tube that fully illuminates every color dot on a black background. Result? ChromaColor 100. A new ChromaColor picture so much brighter and sharper, you've really got to see it. You see it. New ChromaColor 100. Only Zenith has it.
First quarter, we have no score. 8 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first period between the Rams and the Vikings in the big one in the National Football League for this weekend, and you're watching on ABC. And here come the Minnesota Vikings with a golden opportunity, first down on the Los Angeles 18-yard line. Gary Quazzo, the Viking quarterback. Quazzo has it, looking for the strike into the end zone. It is in and out of the hands of Gene Washington. Kermit Alexander made a pass at the ball, did not get it. It was on Washington's hands and fell away. And let's take another look at the fumble that gave Minnesota this chance.
You always hate to see a fumble, really, of any kind, because it breaks the rhythm of a ball game. That just hit him right in the hands, and I suppose the ball is a little bit wetter than what we give it credit for. And the Vikings did recover the fumble. That set them up in great field goal position. So there's a big break to the Vikings.
And the pressure right now on the Los Angeles defense. Quazzo gives to Osborne up the middle. Coy Bacon, one of the first men to get him. It is hard to move against the Los Angeles front four on the ground. Merlin Olsen and Coy Bacon teaming for the tackle.
O'Coy Bacon, number 79, was with Dallas, and he was on our taxi squad one year, and he played up in the Continental League in Oklahoma. He'd come back every week and give us a report on his pass rush. We'd say, Coy, how you doing that pass rush? He said, baby, I am so fat, I get back and tell the quarterback where to set up. So let's see what he does tonight.
Call it a 2-yard pickup for Osborne. 3rd down and 8. Quazzo to throw. He throws wide open. Bill Brown, touchdown. Bill Brown got away in the secondary and went in all by himself, and the Vikings are on the board at 7:47 to go in the first quarter.
Somebody missed that assignment back there that time. Hey, we can take a look at it in a little while and see what happened, but nobody's supposed to be open that much.
You better believe it. The Vikings go 18 yards in 3 plays on the 17-yard scoring shot from Quazzo to Bill Brown. Coming out of the backfield, Fred Cox will try the extra point. He's 15 out of 15. He's 16 out of 16. And we have a timeout at Met Stadium here in Minnesota with our score now. The Minnesota Vikings 7, the Los Angeles Rams nothing.
Firestone raised white letter tires for your kind of car, your kind of driving. At your Firestone dealer's High Performance Center. Firestone, the mileage specialist.
Mike Curtis is tough. He plays football hard. But he wants his hair to be soft.
That's why I use Brill Cream. A little dab leaves your hair soft. Really natural, like it should be.
Brill Cream believes a man should be tough. But his hair should be soft. Brill Cream, the best-selling hair dressing in the world.
The Minnesota Vikings have taken the lead, 7-0. In the first quarter, Alvin Heyman is the deep man for the Los Angeles Rams. Fred Cox kicking off for the Minnesota Vikings. He drills it on a line. It's picked off by Big Pat Curran, I think it is, number 88, a tight end. And Curran comes back to about the 36-yard line. And let's take another look at the Minnesota touchdown.
From the end zone camera, we'll take a look. You'll see Bill Brown, number 30, as he comes out of the backfield. Quazzo goes back just in a pocket pass. You'll see Patios go over to cover him. I actually think that the man that's to cover him was my old buddy from Georgia Tech, the old Ramblin' Rex, number 55, Maxie Barnes, you see come in. He just missed his assignment.
We go back to live action. The Los Angeles Rams have the ball, 34-yard line, first down. Roman Gabriel, the quarterback. Smith and Josephson behind him. Larry Smith. Up to about the 39. Hit hard by Jim Marshall, number 70, defensive end for the Vikings.
Page, number 88, in my opinion, is one of the finest defensive tackles in football. Invariably, they'll try 2 men on him. You'll see the pursuit he has. He's not only big, but he's very agile, quick, comes all the way down the line, makes a great move. Great play by Page, number 88.
A gain 4 yards. Second down, 6. Ball up to 39 for the Rams. They trail 7-0. Here comes Larry Smith from the other side. Carl Eller after him, and Eller gets in.
Chief, the Rams are going to try and establish the running game, as Don Meredith enunciated earlier. And as we isolate on Carl Eller, you'll see the very great number 81 fighting off the block, moving in to make the tackle on Larry Smith, the second-year man, who is a very good one from Florida. Watch that pursuit, the very thing Don pointed out a moment ago. But they are going to try and establish the running game. They will not throw long against the famed Minnesota secondary zone defense.
A loss of a yard. Third down, 7. Rams from their own 38. Penalty flags in the air. Apparently contact was made, and again you get an idea of the tremendous anticipation and even, if you will, anxiety that exists along that front line. The Rams were the ones guilty of moving this time.
I know this looks funny a lot to folks at home when they see a defense jump off sides like that, and there's a lot of confusion, and they wind up calling a penalty against the offense. But the rule says the offensive player, after he sets in his stance, He cannot move. Now, if the ball is not snapped, the defensive man has an opportunity to get back across that line of scrimmage, and it wasn't snapped before the offensive lineman moved, and I think that was Brown that moved to the right tackle for the Rams.
The ball is now back just short of the 33-yard line. Rams ball, 3rd down and 13. Gabriel gives it to Larry Smith. He'll sweep. Marshall is after him, and it's Marshall and Lonnie Warwick, number 59, that really high-low him. There's Bud Grant, the coach of the Minnesota Vikings. The Los Angeles Rams will have to kick it away on 4th down and 11.
We talked about mistakes last week, John. So far, there have been 4 made by Los Angeles, 2 penalties, none against Minnesota, 2 fumbles, both recovered by Minnesota. Minnesota only 1. A fumble recovered by Los Angeles, but not in the field position situation that L.A. faced on their last fumble.
That's a good point.
Pat Studstill is the punter for the Los Angeles Rams, averaging 41 yards per kick. Has a little trouble handling it, just barely gets it away. And the kick is out of bounds at the Minnesota 31-yard line, and Steve Smith almost blocked it. We're in the first quarter. 5 minutes and 1 second to play. NFL Monday Night Football continues from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. With our score, the Vikings 7, the Rams nothing.
The 1971 Ford LTD, one of the quietest Fords ever built. But to build a quiet car, you've got to build it strong. For example, we put strong steel guardrails behind the doors, like highway guardrails. Just how strong are they? Watch. We're going to lift the entire car more than 2 tons by the guardrails alone. Let's go. Steel guardrails. They're strong and durable, like the rest of the car, like our new body frame design, and our rugged suspension system. Take a quiet break in the 71 LTD or the new Galaxy. They're built strong to last longer. Ford gives you better ideas.
The Minnesota Vikings own the football. 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line. They lead in the ball game 7-0. 5:01 to play, first quarter. Gary Quazzo is the quarterback. Bill Brown back with him, protecting on the pass as Quazzo delivers to John Henderson, number 8. And a penalty flag is down. Let's see if it goes against Henderson, the receiver, or Clancy Williams, the defensive back for the Rams.
I think O'Clancy got him that time. But we'll take a look at it. You'll see up at the top of your screen, he's just running a post pattern. He does come across the middle. Clancy closes, and Clancy's got good speed. He's a very aggressive defensive back. He comes in, he kind of hangs that arm a little bit into him right before the ball gets there. Henderson is the receiver. Clancy Williams is the defender.
24 yards on the play. It's first down, Minnesota. Los Angeles Rams 45. Bob Grimm out, has a sore leg. The handoff to Bill Brown, and did he get totaled. Ed White, number 62, trying to lead the blocking, but it's very difficult. Maxie Vaughn from the lineback position really fired and got his man. Richie Pettibone also coming up from the secondary. The Los Angeles Rams secondary reads Clarence Williams and Kermit Alexander, 24 and 39, respectively, at the corners. The safeties are Richie Pettibone, 17, Eddie Metter, number 21. Advance the ball, call it a yard, 2nd down, 9. Osborne. He's busy. He's got a Minnesota first down at the Los Angeles 32-yard line. Deacon Jones brought him down.
Great footwork there on a wet field by Mr. Osborne. He got through there, did a little dancing. Moves like that on a night like this will sure get you some yardage because those defensive people don't have any idea where you're going. And if you have the balance and the ability to move your feet like that, it's going to certainly enable you to get more yardage.
Gain of 11 yards on the play. Call it to 33. Quazzo gives it to Bill Brown, and Brown is heading for that 5,000 yards in a hurry. He's down to the Ram 25 for a pickup of 8, brought down by Ed Metter.
Oh, Boom Boom just jumped in there with that one like he knew what he was doing. There was a good hole on that left side of the line. They went right at Coy Bacon and Darren Talbot, and he opened it up good, and he slid right through.
Second down, 2. Rain is really coming down. Osborne. He's about as slick as the football. He's down to about the 23, maybe close to the first down. Richie Pettibone gets the tackle for the Rams.
Tackle by Richie Pettibone.
Louis Armstrong and Tennessee Ernie Ford guest star with Johnny Cash on the Johnny Cash Show Wednesday night at 9, 8 Central Time here on ABC. So there'll be some old-fashioned foot stomping in that one.
Timeout to measure.
The chain gang coming on the field, and the rain is really pelting down right now. They are a little bit short, as you can see.
I hate to see a night like this for a game like this. Doesn't hardly seem fair. Get a good ball game, you ought to have good weather.
We've played it this morning. It's been great. Third down, a short yard for the Minnesota Vikings. Ball is at the Los Angeles, just inside the 24. And going into the middle, apparently for the first down, number 32, Oscar Reed. Clint Jones it was, number 26, who had come in. And I'm trying to mop the windows here so that I can get a little better view of what's going on. As you can see, the rain is really coming down. The Vikings now have 6 first downs.
Meanwhile, John, it's the old bromide. They're running right at Los Angeles' strength of front four.
They beat them. They got the others sacked up.
The Vikings are leading 7-0, 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, and Minnesota's on the move again. Bill Brown slips one tackle. Myron Patios missed him in the backfield, and he gets back inside the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on the play.
Well, Myron Patios has been playing good football this year, and I was talking to Myron. He says, I didn't know how good I was until Jack Reynolds came along. Reynolds has been doing a good job for him as a backup this year, and Myron has certainly shown the effect, which again proves up a little pressure never hurt anybody.
Bill Brown now has 17 yards. He needs 22 to reach the 5,000 mark. Ball is just outside the Ram 21. Quazzo back to throw in the pouring rain. Flips it out to Osborne.
Oh,
The ball is loose. It's still loose. It's picked up by Clancy Williams of the Rams, and he comes back out to the 41-yard line. John Henderson tried to grab it, but the ball squirted free from him, and Clancy Williams came up to recover for the Rams.
Hey, we got some good things on this one. Number 1 is a great catch by Osborne. Good pass by Quazzo. He gets it over the head of Jones. He took a lick right there. Henderson couldn't hold on to it. Clancy Williams, number 24, comes up and picks it up. The Rams have got the ball.
First and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Roman Gabriel, the quarterback. Wendell Tucker is wide to the right side and gave back the throw. Flips. Cannot get away. He is caught from behind and dragged down by number 70, Jim Marshall, and Gary Larson, 77. Give you an idea of the matchup along that front line. The Los Angeles Rams on offense. Charlie Cowan, 6'4", 265 against Marshall, 6'3", 248. Tom Mack, 6'3", 250 against Alan Page, 6'4", 250. Joe Chiavelli, 6 feet, 255 against Greg Larson, 6'4", 270. Bob Brown, 6'4", 290 against Carl Eller, 6'4", 270. Any wonder the earth might crack? Second down and 14. The ball now is back at the 38-yard line. Make it second down and 13 as Gabriel goes to throw. Swings it to Les Josephson. And Josie is caught by Carl Kasolke, number 29, and brought down as he gets up to the 47-yard line, short of a first down. Paul Dixon has penetrated for the Vikings, number 76. And we have come to the end of the first quarter. After one, the Minnesota Vikings lead 7-0 over the Los Angeles Rams.
Model motoring by Aurora has been as close to real racing as you can get because you control the cars yourself and can do things like grist through the turns and accelerate to incredible speeds on the straightaways. It gives you all the thrills of the 24-hour Le Mans race, except for one, headlights. Now Aurora introduces night racing. 24 hours of Le Mans, the new day and night racing set by Aurora.
Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, with the Minnesota Vikings out in front. The Los Angeles Rams have the football. Third down. They need 4 yards for a first down. The ball is at their 47-yard line. In the first quarter, the Vikings ran 22 offensive plays compared to 6 for the Rams. Gabriel to throw it. Throws it. It'll be an incompleted forward pass. He was hammered by Gary Larson, number 77, just as he released it, but he did get it away.
Gabe feels he's got the best offensive line in football with all the fellas you named, Keith, Cowan, Max, Sabelli, and all the rest. But they so far have not stopped that pass rush, and they must stop it if they have a chance. You're looking at it now. From the end zone, Gabe looking for the receiver and getting clobbered by number 70 on the release.
Jim Marshall was the man that made contact instead of Larson. That's Pat Studstill. The punt, Bob Grimm, who's back in the ball game along with Charlie West are the deep men for the Vikings. Studstill's kick, beauty. Considering the weather conditions, sensational punt. All the way back to the Minnesota 11-yard line, where the fair catch was taken by Charlie West. And we have a timeout here in Minnesota with our score, the Vikings 7, the Rams nothing.
Pete Lamons is one of today's stars, strictly up to date. You wouldn't expect him to use an old-fashioned liquid hair tonic. And you're right. He goes for New Blue Venture. It's the new-fashioned liquid, a lot more subtle, really natural.
With Venture, you look like you don't need a hairdresser, instead of like you just used one.
Venture is so natural, you look like you don't need a hairdressing, instead of like you just used one. New Blue Venture.
Now from Firestone, a new studded asymmetrical town and country winter tire you can put on all 4 wheels to really improve your stopping ability on ice. With just 2 asymmetrical town and country studded tires on the rear, you still stop. And you've stopped a lot quicker than you can with just 2 ordinary studded winter tires on the rear. Look for the new asymmetrical winter tire at your Firestone store or participating dealer, the mileage specialist.
The ball is on the Minnesota 11-yard line. The Vikings have the ball, first and 10. 14 minutes, 48 seconds to play in the first half, and the Vikings lead 7-0. The scoring coming in the first quarter, recovering a Rams fumble on the 18. 3 plays that took it in, a 17-yard pass, Quazzo to Bill Brown. Number 80, John Henderson, wide to the right, as Quazzo, number 15, falls to 6. Osborne and Brown are the setbacks. Dave Osborne cradling that ball, and he is a fine runner. The gain will be out past the 15, probably the 16-yard line. And the first quarter statistics, as you can see, with a big edge in offensive plays and first down. and everything, as a matter of fact, to the Minnesota Vikings. Followed a gain of 4 yards for Osborne. 2nd down and 6. The ball at the 15. They've got to go to the 21 to get the first down. Bill Brown, sifting through behind a very strong block by number 64, Milt Sunday, is up close to the 20. If he got 5, he's got 5,000 yards in his career. They're going to give him 4. He needs 1 more yard to reach 5,000. This time, number 84, Gene Washington, comes wide to the right. John Henderson goes to the left. 3rd down, a yard to go. That's Osborne, and Dave did not make the first down. He is stopped inside the 20 by the Rams. It will be 4th down and a yard to go for the Minnesota Vikings at the 20-yard line. They will have to kick it away.
You're looking at head coach George Allen, strict disciplinarian, center of controversy. Stormo Petrel left the Chicago Bears. The Bears sued him for doing it when he took over at Los Angeles. Doesn't get along with his owner. Owner fired him as we await this punt. But the players stood behind him. He's still there.
The kick is away by McNeil. Backing up to take it is Kermit Alexander. Gets a great block from his cohort, Alvin Heyman. Alexander reversing his field, trying to get away. He may still do it. Nope. He is cut down, hit hard by Jim Lindsay, and Kent Kramer is hurt for the Vikings downfield. Penalty flag on the field.
As we await the penalty, Keith, to continue the saga of George Allen. Owner Dan Reeves says that even if he wins the Super Bowl this year, he's out. His contract ends. Well, say what you will about George Allen. Take whatever side you want. The penalty, as you can see, against the Vikings and another break for the Rams. Rather against the Rams and another break for the Vikings. George Allen is a winner. From 1967 through the present date, he's won 36, lost 8, and tied 3, and that record speaks for itself.
The ball is back at the 14-yard line as a result of the clip by the Rams. Roman Gabriel, the quarterback for Los Angeles. Alvin Heyman did not get his block down clean. They called him for the clipping. The handoff to Lester Josephson, who is a native son of this great state of Minnesota. And Josie gets it up to the 17 before Roy Winston, old Arm and Hammer, knocks him down.
Les had some of his family with him last night at the restaurant having dinner, so Donna went to go over meeting the folks. That's just great. Looked like a family reunion. I've never seen so many of them. They all look about alike. He's got that real blonde hair and blue eyes. He said, no, they're all my family, brothers and sisters. And nice-looking group of folks.
2nd down and 7 from the 17. Gabriel gives it to Larry Smith, and the big youngster from Florida is at the 20 before the middle of the Minnesota line collapses on him, and leading that collapse is Lonnie Warwick, middle linebacker, number 59.
Don, the reason as you know, I mentioned mistakes earlier. George Allen teaches his men minimize the mistakes, the penalties, the interceptions, the fumbles, because Allen knows he doesn't have the swiftness in the offensive backfield or even in the wide receivers to strike long and with immediate. They have to do everything the hard way.
11:20 to go, first half. Vikings lead 7-0. 3rd down, 3 yards to go for the Rams at their 20. Gabriel has it. He throws to Smith. Larry is caught. He had a first down, I think. The ball is loose. The officials have blown it dead. Minnesota Vikings have the football. Alan Page, I believe, was the man that came up with it. Alan Page, who has turned into one of the biggest thieves in the National Football League this year. He is something.
That defense has done it again, and Howard was just talking about the mistakes. You'll see Alan Page again, number 88. He's a great defensive player all around. He puts on a good rush. He does have a habit of being where that ball is. He's come up with a couple. He came up with an interception for a touchdown this year. You'll see him there pick up the fumble. Those Vikings know when Page gets the ball, he's heading for the goal line.
Wally Hilgenberg helped him out a little bit. Wally, as a matter of fact, might have helped knock the ball loose. to get the ball to Allen. It's on the 14, first down. Quazzo goes for the corner. Henderson, he's got it out of bounds inside the 5.
That was a good gutsy call. You throw that thing out in the flat with a guy like Clancy Williams covering, and if it flips a little bit in this weather, you know that there's a possibility of him picking it off and going all the way, but that was a good call and a good catch by Henderson.
And it's first down and goal to go for the Minnesota Vikings as they try to cash in on another Ram mistake. Makes the big play, and it's been the defense making the big play this season for the Minnesota Vikings. Call it the 3.5-yard line. First and goal to go. Clint Jones in at running back. They give it to Osborne, who's stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. Merlin Olsen, number 74. Maxie Bond, number 55 for the Rams.
Don't know whether you noticed the Rams made a slight shift in their defensive line right at the last minute there, and they did shift their line over to where the play actually came. And it was a little bit too late for Quazzo to audible, so they ran right into the strength of the line, the defensive line of the Rams.
Second down, goal to go. Call it the 4-yard line. Tengelhoff gives to Quazzo. Quazzo in trouble, and Troy Bacon hammers in.
Take a look at Quazzo as he fakes the handoff. He's on a rollout pattern. He wants to throw. You'll see Bacon, number 79, as he comes up. Bacon made a good move to keep to the outside to contain the run. So Quazzo made a great move to come in there and throw him down for a loss. I think Quazzo actually had either Brown or one of the backs that was open on a flare pass back in the end zone. He couldn't get it to him.
A loss of 12 yards, back to the 16-yard line. It's third down and goal to go from the 16. That's Bill Brown going up the middle. He's now past the 5,000-yard mark. He's back inside the 5 to the 4. Herman Alexander on the tackle for the Rams. The left side of that Minnesota offensive line, Grady Alderman, 67, who is the lone remaining original Viking, and Ed White doing quite a job blocking. So it'll be fourth down. The ball is just short of the 5-yard line, and the Minnesota field goal unit has come on the field.
A little confusion there. The fellow that keeps the downs over here on the sideline had failed to put that fourth down marker up. The Vikings, I think, were going to try to slip out an extra down on them. They didn't realize this was on national TV and we'd catch them.
Fred Cox will try the extra point, try the field goal, number 14. Cox with 51 points as he started tonight. The extra point after the touchdown. He has 2 as he stands there. He will regain the scoring lead in the National Football Conference if he is successful with this field goal. He led the NFL in scoring last year. Earl Mann of Detroit had 10 points yesterday for a total of 53 points. David Ray has 49 points. But right now we zero in on Fred Cox. From the 13-yard line, it's good. And we have a timeout here in Minnesota. And our scoreboard now reads the Minnesota Vikings 10, the Los Angeles Rams nothing.
I treat her rotten. You know what I mean? But I let her touch the face once in a while, and she's happy. Gotta get this. Sonna's new Ultra Chrome blade. It bullies your beard, but baby, your face. Get the baby face shave. Only from Persona. Some dynamite at the day. Have you seen him?
You know he shows up every night at fights. Here he is. Hiya, Tony.
Evening, boys. Usual.
Here you are, Tony. Here you are, lady.
Miller makes it right.
The champagne of beer.
On a very wet, cold, rainy night, Fred Cox stands to kick off for the Minnesota Vikings after the field goal. Dribbles it along the ground. It again is picked up by one of the wedge men, Pat Curran. And Curran, who knows what to do with the football, brings it all the way back to the Los Angeles 38-yard line where the Rams will have it 1st and 10. Wally Hilgenberg made the tackle for Minnesota. Coming up next Saturday on ABC, NCAA Regional College Football, California, USC, Nebraska, Colorado, South Carolina, Georgia, Holy Cross, Buffalo. Consult your local listings for the time of the game in your area. And those in the East scheduled to see California, USC will be watching the powerful Nebraska Cornhuskers and Colorado instead. Now here come the Los Angeles Rams. 1st and 10 as Roman Gabriel stops to pass, and his intended receiver, Wendell Tucker, downfield, fell down, and Gabe just unloaded it.
Well, Los Angeles has field position now, Keith, and they've got to start to make a move because early as it is, and although there's a long way to go and anything can happen, as they always say, there's no tougher team to play catch-up football against than the Minnesota Vikings. I'd like to amplify what I said earlier. Mr. Reeves, the owner of the Rams, is reported to have said Allen will not be back as coach even if they win the Super Bowl. There's a distinction between reported to have said and actually hearing the statement. Isn't that the truth?
2nd down and 10. Inside, handoff. And the leather really snapped on that one. Number 88, Alan Page, was the first man to get to the ball carrier along with Gary Larson, who slid across.
You see, Alan Page, number 88, he made a great move to the inside. Actually, nobody touched him. And a guy that big, it maybe looked like a very simple move, but now there's not very many folks that can make that kind of move, so he's a difficult man to block on, and he's certainly a problem for any offensive team when if you're going to run up the middle.
Larry Smith had 2 yards. 3rd down, 8 from the 40 for the Rams. Vikings leading 10-0. Eller gets back. Maybe he didn't. Penalty flags are down. Gabriel looking for someone to throw to and cannot get rid of it. And again, it's Alan Page, number 88, knocking the Los Angeles quarterback down.
While we await the penalty, Don, I'm surprised at the trouble Gabe is having getting rid of the ball because one would have expected him, based on the game plan he disclosed to us, to throw quickly to his back, flaring out, or to his tight end. And he was looking deep then.
Yeah, he said that he thought he would start with a screen pass, Howard, maybe to kind of feel them out a little bit and see what they do. The Vikings do run a zone to the strong side and the weak side. So maybe he's checking them out some way that he didn't tell us about.
5-yard offside. Minnesota moves the ball to the 45-yard line. Rams, 3rd down. They've got to go just over the 48 to get the 1st down. About 3.5 yards on 3rd down for Gabriel. Roman to throw. Again, he's having trouble finding people. He cannot get away. Jim Marshall knocked him down. The football is loose, but the Rams retain possession. So the old pigskin is pretty slick tonight. And down in the bottom, Ken Iman, number 50, the man that came up with the ball and kept it for Los Angeles. That tells you something about the efficiency of the Minnesota secondary. That's 2 times in a row Gabriel just simply couldn't find anybody to throw to. The ball is back at the 39-yard line on 4th and 9. Pat Studstill is in to punt. The deep men are Bob Grimm and Charlie West for the Minnesota Vikings. And Studstill's kick, a low liner, goes to West. He takes it at the 26, 27-yard line, and he comes back about 2 yards before his feet are jerked out from under him by Bob Klein. At Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, we have a timeout with 6:36 to play in the 1st half, and the score, the Minnesota Vikings 10, the Los Angeles Rams nothing.
This is Ford's Maverick, the simple machine. Simple to own, drive, and service. And this is one of the strongest, quietest Fords ever built, the 1971 Ford LTD. But small cars aren't big enough for some people, and others don't need a large car. So Ford has something right in the middle you should know about. Torino. If you like small car prices and the sportier way small cars handle, but you don't want to give up the smoother ride of a big car or room for 6, remember, Ford's got something right in the middle. Torino. And you can take your choice of sedans, wagons, sports roofs, hardtops, even a convertible. When you want some of the things from a small car and some of the things from a big car, you want something right in the middle. Torino. All 14 models are available at your Ford dealers now. Ford gives
gives you better ideas.
The Minnesota Vikings own the football with 6:36 to go in the first half. The ball is at their own 29-yard line, first down. Gary Quazzo with Osborne and Brown behind him. And it's Osborne slipping through. And again, he got great blocking from the left side of the line. He comes all the way out to the 40-yard line before Kermit Alexander and Eddie Metter make the tackle for the Rams. 11 yards on the play. Right here, let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. The Minnesota Vikings now have 9 first downs, 1 for the Rams. The Vikings lead 10-0, second quarter. 6 minutes to play in the first half. Quazzo gives it to Dave Osborne, and Osborne is dragged down back at the 37-yard line. And Dyrone Talbert, number 72, made the tackle for the Rams. The Minnesota Vikings grabbed the lead in the first quarter, capitalizing on a Los Angeles fumble, took it in from the 18-yard line, a scoring strike from Quazzo to Brown of 17 yards, and then Fred Cox has kicked a 13-yard field goal, and the Vikings have a 10-0 lead with 5:25 to go in the first half. Second down and 14. Back at the 36. Rams defense dancing around. Osborne slipping through, and Dave is back up to the 43-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. This time it's Eddie Metter coming out of the secondary with help from Coy Bacon on the tackle.
They're taking a pretty good shot at the newest members of that fearsome foursome, and Coy Bacon and Darren Talbert over there. And this is not unusual. This is a kind of expected thing. It seems like if you find a new face in the lineup, that's what you want to do is check him out. Not that these guys are that new, but you've certainly heard a little bit more of Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen. So they may continue that. We'll just have to wait and see.
Ball is at the 43, third down, 7, Minnesota. They've got to go to midfield to get the first down. Quazzo keeps on the sneak. He gets to the 46. And that's all. Number 66, Myron Patios, middle linebacker, stopped him. So Minnesota will have to kick it away.
Played it cautious, John.
I don't know what that is. That's not like the quarterbacks I know. He called a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 8.
Tom McNeil, number 12, is in the punt as Gary Quazzo goes to the sideline. McNeil has kicked twice for a 38-yard average, under his normal average. The deep man is Alvin Heyman. Heyman back at the 18. Slips and slides, and finally down he goes. Alvin Heyman is brought down by Dale Hackbart, number 49. We've seen a little pilfering and a little thievery out here on the field so far in this first half. Well, it's probably a good thing to have Burt Reynolds with us tonight as Detective Dan August. And you'll see him search out an elusive lawbreaker Wednesday night at 10, 9 Central Time on ABC.
He's my favorite policeman.
Rams ball, first down, 26-yard line. Vikings lead 10-0. Let's see what the Rams can do if they can get it going. Gabriel gives it to Lester Josephson. And the big youngster from Minneota, Minnesota, comes up and gets no more than 2.
We're down to 3:15 left to play in the half, Keith. And it reminds me of the situation a year ago when Los Angeles had everything going for it in the first half and led against Minnesota in the Western Conference title game 17-7 at halftime. Now the 10-point differential favors Minnesota.
Give him 1 yard on the previous play. Make it second down and 9 from the 27. Gabriel stays with a running game. Carl Eller, number 81. Jim Marshall, number 70, on the defensive play for the Minnesota Vikings.
I know Roman's aware of this. We talked about it before the ball game. As he pointed out, there's the worst thing you can do against a zone defense team is to force yourself or you force your passing game into a zone, because we've talked about the zone many times. These people are covering areas out there, and it seems that he's been a little pressured for some reason to try to force his pattern. We may see him come back a little bit later and pick out the short one.
3rd down and 7 from the 29. Gabriel back to throw. Nobody to throw to. He finally unloads it to Lester Josephson. It is short and incomplete. Jim Marshall was the man really putting the heat on Gabriel and forced him finally to unload it. So we have 1:57 to play in the first half. NFL Monday Night Football will continue from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, with our score: the Vikings 10, the Rams nothing.
Come fly with me and fly, let's fly today.
What are you giving your wife for Christmas? Something nice? Something as extra special as she is? United Airlines suggests you give your wife Hawaii for Christmas. You can go any time of the year. United offers several low-cost Hawaii tours. Call your travel agent. He'll arrange everything. Think of it. You and your wife in Hawaii. It just might make a new woman out of her. Might even make a new man out of you. See your travel agent about United's special Hawaii tours. And when you give your wife Hawaii for Christmas, you'll receive this beautiful gift book, The Hawaiians.
Well, the music indicates some of the joy that is loose right now here in Minnesota as the Vikings lead the Rams 10-0. Pat Studstill will punt for Los Angeles on 4th and 7. Charlie West and Bob Grimm are deep. Pat doesn't get all of it. It's a high kick, but quite short, and it takes a Viking bounce and comes back upfield to the 48-yard line, and there Minnesota will have it 1st and 10. The Vikings have dominated the first half. Coming up at halftime, Howard Cosell will have highlights of NFL action for you. The Dallas-Kansas City game, Detroit-Chicago, Green Bay-Philadelphia, and the New York Giants' big win over the St. Louis Cardinals. Pat Studstill getting only 23 yards on that punt.
Told you I was going to talk to those Cowboys last week. Yeah.
Somebody did something. Gary Quazzo at the trigger for the Vikings. Back to throw. He had a moment, and then suddenly that moment was gone as the Rams penetrated Merlin Olsen and Tyrone Talbot.
Can't you just kind of feel that when all these guys come bouncing in there, and there comes one, here comes another one? That's a dentist back there with that football. He's an orthodontist. Isn't that what he was finished number 1 in his class? Interesting little story. They want to know why he wanted to be an orthodontist. Is that right, Keith?
Yes, that's right.
All right. And his comment was that he wanted people to come to him when they weren't in pain. I thought that was kind of an interesting little twist, a reason to be an orthodontist.
On 2nd down and 18, the handoff goes to Bill Brown in the middle, and there is no room for Mr. Brown this time as Myron Patios, number 66, and Deacon Jones, number 75, stop him. The ball is now back at the Minnesota 39. This series started up at the 48, so it is going to be 3rd down and 19. Jim Nettles, number 19, just checked into the Rams secondary, replacing Myron Patios on this 3rd and 19, so obviously the Rams expect pass. Quazzo gives it to Bill Brown, and Brown, trying to get loose, is tripped by Jack Pardee, who's quite a football story in himself. It'll be 4th down and about 23 yards to go, and there's the time remaining in the first half. The Vikings with a 10-0 lead, and they have thoroughly dominated this first half of play. Americans, you know, are aware of the tragic plane crash which killed 30 players and friends of the Wichita State University football team October 2nd. We joined the NFL in an appeal for sports fans everywhere to help Wichita State University deal with this tragedy, the worst in football history. A start has already been made, the surviving players voting to complete the remainder of the season as a memorial to their teammates. Now it's time for others to help them. Friends of college football at Wichita State University, students and alumni have created the Wichita Fund and urge everyone to join. So please help by sending your contribution to Wichita Fund, Wichita, Kansas, 67201. Tom McNeil to punt on 4th down. Oh, it's almost blocked. Willie Ellison may have gotten a piece of it. It's a very short kick. Kermit Alexander on the sideline with a wall of blockers. He may go all the way. He is down. Jim Lindsay dragged him down at the 2-yard line for Minnesota.
How quickly those things turn around. We see Alexander, number 39, and Alexander was a running back in college, so he knows what to do with that ball when he gets it. Makes a good move down the sideline. You see a great save there. Just to bring him down just short of the goal line. We'll see if the Rams can get it in. That could turn this thing around in the second half.
The ball is on the Minnesota 2-yard line. 1st and goal to go. Los Angeles, a 49-yard return of that partially deflected, and I believe it was partially deflected, by Ellison, number 33. 19 seconds remain to play in the first half. Roman Gabriel trying to cash in on this big opportunity for Los Angeles. Lester Josephson is down to the goal line, but he is not in. Time call by Los Angeles. 11 seconds to play in the first half.
What a turn of events, as you said. What a break for Los Angeles when most had needed it. And we talked before about George Allen. One of his most daring trades took place in the last offseason when he sent his place-kicking specialist, Bruce Gossett, up to San Francisco for Kermit Alexander, and elected to go with a youngster who came up to the big time as a wide receiver named David Ray. Ray came through in a clutch situation against Green Bay last week to break a 21-21 tie. Alexander is evidencing his values tonight, and the Allen theory is, I respect specialists, but if I can get a man who's a total athlete, I want it. Under crisis conditions, he'll react the way a total athlete should, and the place kicker won't. 11 seconds left to play, as you see. In this, the first half. If the Rams can get this over, well, it's a 3-point differential, and as everyone would say, a brand new ball game.
Both tight ends, Truax and Klein, are in the ball game now. 2nd down and goal from about 2 feet away. Gabriel, quarterback sneak. He did not make it. The middle of that Minnesota line.
I think it.
Fumble the ball. The time ran out. But it looks like he is calling him. Now, let's see. Just hold everything. Whether or not the Rams were able to call time before time expired. The indication apparently is that Gabriel on the quarterback sneak did manage to call time before time expired. Wally Hilgenberg and Gary Larson were already off the field. But Gabriel keeping the ball on the quarterback sneak. Immediately called time and he heard the whistle. Gabriel tries again. He did not make it. He did not make it, and the Vikings hold.
That's going to be tough to live with.
Yes, sir. We'll be talking about that one for a long time to come.
Oh, my. We have come to the end of the first half with our score. The Minnesota Vikings 10, the Los Angeles Rams nothing. Howard Cosell will be back with a look at the highlights of yesterday's NFL action right after this message.
If you own an imported car, there's something you ought to know about spark plugs before you try to pass somebody on the highway. To prove our point, we asked the United States Auto Club to supervise tests in Germany and California on 19 different imports. Here's what happened on one of those tests. The cars are identical. They're both accelerated electronically, and the only difference is spark plugs. And what a difference. The car on the left has Champion Turbo Action Design spark plugs. The car on the right has Champion Conventional Design spark plugs. The winner on the left. Now the plugs are switched on the same 2 cars. Only this time, the winner's on the right. In other words, a difference in design can make a difference in spark plugs. And Champion has the right design for your car, whether it comes from Europe or Japan or Detroit?
Bob Hope joins Danny Thomas on Make Room for Granddaddy Wednesday night.
Metropolitan Stadium, Bloomington, Minnesota. The halftime score, 10-0, and this was the final play of the half with the Vikings leading by that 10-0 count. Roman Gabriel over his center, Kenny Iman, for the second time in a row, virtually at the goal line, the quarterback keeper. For the second time in a row, not getting past the Purple Gang. And the frustration will probably live with the Rams throughout the halftime period. What a job for a coach to get a team back up after that kind of disappointment. 3 shots they had from inside the 3-yard line. They couldn't put it across after the great break on the punt return by Kermit Alexander. 10-0 Minnesota. Now, as is our usual procedure at halftime, every Monday night, through the courtesy of NFL Films, the highlights of some of the key games of the recent weekend. And so let's pick up with that. Pre-game festivities at Kansas City. The Super Chiefs about to take on the Dallas Cowboys. It's early in the first quarter. First time the Chiefs have the ball. They recover the Dallas fumble on the Dallas 31. Lenny Dawson hits number 30, Gloucester Richardson, who goes out on the Dallas 5. Quickly, then, the Chiefs are ready to assume an early lead. And just 3 plays later, the handoff goes to Ed Podolak out of Iowa. He sweeps right in behind good blocking by Mo Mormon. And the Chiefs, with the conversion, have a 7-0 lead over the Cowboys. Podolak becoming a more consequential figure in Kansas City's scheme of things since the trading of Mike Garrett to San Diego. But now we're in the third quarter, and Dallas is leading 13-10. Dawson looks for number 89, Otis Taylor, but finds instead Mel Renfro. And with the interception, Dallas has field position on the Chiefs' 47. Just 2 plays later, Calvin Hill sidelined with back problems. Wayne Thomas becomes the workhorse. Number 33, watch him go. All the way in for the touchdown. Dallas assumes a commanding lead of 20-10. That young man has a tremendous potential. Wayne Thomas. Now this is the next time the Cowboys have possession. A screen pass from Craig Morton to Dwayne Thomas again. Thomas bolts down the sideline. And nobody's going to get him this time either. An apparent touchdown. 72-yard play. But only apparent. Cowboys detected holding, the ball called back. This didn't deter Morton. It's just 2 plays later. Craig finds the incomparable speedster, the former Olympic champion Bob Hayes, who has no trouble outracing Emmett Thomas. This was a game that Dallas commanded. Kansas City mustered 2 later field goals. The final score, Dallas 27, Kansas City 16. And Bob Hayes in the doghouse earlier this year is very much out of it now. Now, this is Detroit at Chicago. Wrigley Field. The 2 met earlier in a game covered by ABC, and this one began the same way as the earlier one, with Concannon looking for and finding Dick Gordon, who beats Lem Barney for the 3rd time this year. And quickly, the Bears have a surprising 7-0 lead. The Bears had momentum, it seemed, in the first half. Detroit mustered a field goal. Now with the score 7-3, Concannon finds George Farmer, and that's number 20. Lem Barney beaten again. Farmer goes all the way down to the 4-yard line of the Lions. The Bears seem ready to take full control of the ball game, but you see the fumble. was covered by the Lions. And so the first half ended. Bears 7, the Lions 3. The disappointed Quintana. Now, Detroit moved to 7-6 in the second half, and this became the big play. Quarterback Billy Munson. A perfect strike to Earl McCullough, the fleet-footed wide receiver, who foretook Olympic action in order to play professional football. And so in a bruising game, Detroit hung on for a 16-10 victory. Closer than expected, but still a victory. Now we're back live at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Vikings enjoying a 10-0 halftime edge after a thrilling but frustrating for the Rams end of the half when they couldn't move it in after 3 chances from inside the Vikings 3. We'll look at more NFL action after this message.
This is Marlboro Country. As long as men smoke for flavor, there'll always be a Marlboro Country.
That's Philadelphia Eagles coach Jerry Williams. He saw his team jump in front of Green Bay at Milwaukee with an early field goal, 3-0. But the rookie quarterback, Rick Arrington, number 11, is to have his troubles. An interception by Doug Hart, number 43 of the Packers. And Doug returns the ball 76 yards for a Packers score, putting the Pack in front 7-3. They were in front to stay. Dale Livingston had a field goal. That made it 10-3, but after the kickoff, watch this return by Billy Wallace. He finds that one hole that's necessary, speeds down the sideline. He's being chased by young Ken Ellis, the rookie from Southern University, who finally drives him out of bounds, but it was an 82-yard return to the Green Bay 15. Now it's 3rd and 5 on the 10. And Rick Arrington throws for Gary Bowman. The ball hits him squarely on the back of his jersey, and that same number 48, Kenny Ellis, picks it off and starts back upfield. He goes in all 60 yards into Eagles territory before going out of bounds. Packers drive stopped. They were ahead 17-3, and then Norm Snead, number 16, took over for the Eagles, threw that pass to Ben Hawkins, who flipped the tackler, lost his helmet, but found himself alone, and Ben goes into the score. That made it 17-10. Packers ahead. That Ben Hawkins can run some, too. Now the Eagles are still driving. They try for a field goal by Mosley, but it's partially blocked by Bobby Jeter, number 21, and that's Doug Hart, who had a great day. Look at him break that tackle. Number 43. He returns the ball all the way to the Green Bay 45. Doug Hart, one of the veterans going back to the old Lombardi days at Green Bay. Now number 15, Bart Starr. He throws to Rick McGeorge, the rookie tight end from Little Elon College in Carolina. McGeorge goes in for the touchdown, and the final score, Green Bay 30, Philadelphia 17, a win for Phil Bengtson. St. Louis Cardinals at Yankee Stadium against the New York Football Giants. They should have called it Fran Tarkenton Day. This is in the early going, their third play from scrimmage. A perfect strike from Tarkenton to number 18, Clifton McNeil, acquired from San Francisco. Earlier with Cleveland, team from Grambling College. Now Tarkenton's ready for the first touchdown of the game. Number 88, Aaron Thomas, the veteran end, corrals it in the end zone. The Giants lead 7-0. St. Louis got a field goal to make it 7-3, and then Fran, number 10, went to work again. He hits his tight end, number 38, Bob Tucker, who had a great day. That made it 14-3, Giants. Now Tarkenton's at it again. Seemed like a broken record. He hit 10 out of 10 passes in the first half. This is just the third time the Giants had the ball, and it was a perfect heave to Clifton McNeil. So it became 21-3. In the second half, Tarkenton led up only slightly. This one is to Bob Tucker. It's another touchdown. And amazingly, the Giants had upset St. Louis 35-17. St. Louis now in a 4-up and 2-down tie with the Dallas Cowboys. That's the scene here at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The rain pouring down. A veritable plethora of fumbles in the first half, which was dominated by the Minnesota Vikings 10-0 as you read the score, but the statistics make it even more so. 9 first downs for the Vikings, only 1 for the Rams. 110 yards offensively for the Vikings, only 38 for the Rams. Total number of offensive plays, 36 for the Vikings, only 20 for the Rams, nearly twice as many. And of course, the major differential was in rushing, because Minnesota used the ground game most effectively. Now you see the team coming out, the purple gang of the Minnesota Vikings, and one has to wonder how the Rams are going to come back from the frustration at the end of the half when they failed to score. Now let's go back to Keith Jackson.
Thank you, Howard. NFL Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings, being brought to you by Marlboro Filter Cigarettes. Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro Country. And by Firestone, the mileage specialist. You're on the right track with Firestone. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after this message from our local station.
Louis Armstrong joins Johnny Cash Wednesday night on ABC.
This is Keith Jackson along with Don Meredith and Howard Cosell. And we are at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings' Fred Cox getting ready to tee up the football as we begin the second half of play with the Los Angeles Rams receiving. The Vikings are leading in the ball game by a score of 10-0. Number 33 is Willie Ellison. Number 23, Alvin Heyman, going deep for the Los Angeles Rams. Coming up in a little while, we'll have a direct report from Atlanta, Georgia, on the Muhammad Ali-Jerry Quarry fight for you. Right now, we concern ourselves with the start of the second half as Cox hits it deep. Heyman, 6 yards deep in the end zone. Oh, look out! The ball is knocked loose on the sideline as Carl Kasoki, number 29, was the last man. But it remains in the possession of the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams will take over 1st and 10. And the rain continues to fall. 1st and 10. And the rain continues to fall.
There are the statistics. They speak, I think, for themselves. Meanwhile, what a way to come back from frustration if Heyman had been able to break the whole thing. Even so, he's given them good field position.
He brought it back 41, 42 yards. Call it to 36. Makes the kick return 42 yards. First down, Los Angeles. Roman Gabriel is the quarterback. And Gabe goes right back to throw. He swings it out to Lester Josephson. And Josephson is caught around the ankles and dropped by Bobby Bryant. There'll be a gain on the play from the 36 up to the 38. Second down, 8 coming up. There, a look at the defensive front four for Minnesota.
John, what do you suppose George Allen told his Chargers at halftime after that first half ending?
He had a lot of things he could have said. I really don't know which one he did say.
Second down at 8. Jack Snow is wide right. Bob Long, number 86, starting at a wide receiver position, is wide left. The handoff to Lester Josephson. Fine effort by Josie. And Josephson is knocked out of bounds by Paul Krause, number 22 for Minnesota. He has picked up Finelli first down at the Viking 42-yard line.
Incredible the way he's come back from that ruptured Achilles tendon operation, especially at relatively advanced years. That may be the most difficult of all injuries to come back from.
You like to see anybody do well, but especially, I like to see nice folks do well, and he really is a real nice guy, so I'm very happy to see him back running in good form again.
Josie picked up 20 yards on the play. Call it the 43-yard line. First down, Los Angeles, Minnesota country. Gabriel still got it. And down he goes under big number 77, Gary Larson, who used to be a Los Angeles Ram.
I don't know how to really describe what's happening any better than maybe you can describe it at home. But really and truly, it just seems like everything the Rams try to do, they're just not at the right place. And that was a play-action pass. It didn't clear out really as well as some play-action passes should. Now, Roman, you see... Roman on the sideline, he did get a pretty good shot there to the nose. But speaking from nose injuries, that one will come back. Carl Sweeten is the new quarterback. Let's take a look at him.
Sweeten, number 10. The ball is now back at the Los Angeles 49-yard line. Second down and 21. They give it away to Larry Smith. And Smith, trying to get around the corner, cannot turn that corner as the Minnesota defense reacts very well. Lonnie Warwick, number 59, knocked him out of bounds. Carl Sweeten, number 10.
I know George Allen has a great deal of confidence in Sweeten. He has been around the league at a few clubs before he made the Rams stop, but he seems to give them the type strength they need. He's a great support man for Roman. Roman very seldom gets hurt, but when he does, they have some confidence in Sweeten.
Third down and about 17 yards to go. And the handoff is inside on a trap play, and it doesn't work for much. As Larry Smith gets to about the Minnesota 46-yard line, they had to go down to the 33 to get their first down. So the Los Angeles Rams have a decision here with the ball resting at the Minnesota 47-yard line. Roman Gabriel has been sacked 3 times tonight for a total of 18 yards. And with the weather conditions being what they are, the Rams will punt. The deep men, Charlie West and Bob Graham, and Pat Studstill will hit it from about his own 42-yard line. That on 4 punts in the first half, averaged 33.5 yards, well under his normal season average. The kick is away. This one's a pretty good one. Charlie West looks at it. It bounces on down, and it is going to be marked down at about the 5-yard line, just outside the 5, as the Rams put it down. And we have a timeout here at Metropolitan Stadium in Minnesota, with the Minnesota Vikings leading the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 10-0.
My wife starts the car funny. First, she turns on the lights, heater, windshield wipers, radio. Then, after the battery gets a good workout, she starts the car. If you have a wife like mine, you better have a Sears Die-Hard battery.
The Die-Hard with extra starting power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Johnny Bench,
I, Johnny Bench,
have switched to Gillette Platinum Plus blades
have switched to Gillette Platinum Plus blades.
because they shave me closer and with more comfort.
Me too.
Me too. Me too what?
They shave me closer and with more comfort, too.
Now you got it.
Gillette Platinum Plus. Harder than stainless, more durable than chrome. For the shave you've always wanted, and more.
Gillette Platinum Plus. That's my blade.
That was very good, John.
See, you didn't need the football players.
Number 18, standing on the sidelines in white there, is Roman Gabriel, the Los Angeles Rams quarterback. He's been sacked 3 times for a loss of 18 yards. He left the game with a bloody nose. Perhaps the injury could be greater. We'll wait and see. Meantime, Minnesota has it first down on their own 6-yard line. And Quazzo gives to Dave Osborne. And Osborne gets it up to about the 8-yard line before Maxie Bond, the outside linebacker, and Richie Pettibone make the tackle for the Rams.
Yeah, from a quarterback standpoint, I really think this is probably the worst kind of weather that you can have to play in, and primarily because it does affect everybody, and it affects all phases of the game. When the ball is wet and slippery, you can't handle it that well. Your receivers are not going to hold on to it. Your runners can't get good footage. So it's really it's not a good night, and I'm sorry we have it for this type of ball game.
Second down. Make it a 3-yard advance for Osborne. Second down and 7. The handoff goes to Bill Brown, and Bill is across the 10 up to about the 11 before he's knocked off his 10. Running in behind Ed White and Grady Alderman. And Tyrone Talbert made the tackle for Los Angeles.
In the vein that John just touched upon, we had 6 fumbles in the first half, 4 by Los Angeles. The Rams lost 3 of them, 2 by the Vikings. They lost both of them.
You can't really panic in a situation like this, but I know the Vikings are thinking about we can't afford to do anything that would cause these fumbles or interceptions, so they've got to kind of play it cautious.
10:15 to go, third quarter. Vikings lead 10-0. Long count. Dave Osborne drops at the 10-yard line. David Jones, Deacon Jones, and Maxie Bond.
Another chance now with this forthcoming punt for the Los Angeles Rams to get good field position. But remember, the Rams at the moment without Roman Gabriel. Out with a bloodied nose. Helmet torn off his head by a rush by Lawson. And Roman, of course, the player of the year in the NFL a year ago, so a critical commodity to this Rams team.
Number 12, Tom McNeil, will punt for Minnesota. Averaged 28 yards on 4 kicks in the first half. Rain continues to come down on this soggy night. Hits it low, driving kick. Heyman backs up, takes it. Falls down at the Los Angeles 49, but he gets up and almost slips around the corner. He's still going. And he is finally dragged down as the Vikings recover, and enough of them get a hold of him to knock him off his pins. Milt Sunday, number 64, the man who knocked him out.
We'll take a look at this again, when the field is not under real good playing conditions, you'll see him fall down. This throws off the timing of everybody, so the defensive men that are coming down can't seem to get a good move on him. Heyman is a great kick return man. Gosh, you'll see him doing the dance on the side. That reminds me of the Dickie-Doo dance. Came across great field position.
And he gained 14 yards, or picked off 14 on the run back. Timeout, Minnesota. The score, Vikings 10, Rams nothing.
I get great performance out of it.
We're asking some actual customers why they've chosen new Big Plus low-lead gasoline. Listen.
I'm delighted to see that Esso has taken a lead in an anti-pollutant field where a lot of people talk about something and very few do.
because it's terrific. And at the same time, I feel that I'm helping the cause. Today, everything is ecology.
Well, it rides better. I get better mileage, and it really goes great.
Well, it gives me a good ride, no knock. I get pretty good mileage, considering that I got a pretty heavy car.
And here I'm using Big Plus, which costs me less money, and I'm getting more for my money.
I like Big Plus because I get good performance out of my car. It doesn't hurt in the customer's pocketbook.
Well, it's a great gas.
Big Plus, the lowest lead, highest octane gasoline for the money. It's not going to end automotive emissions by itself, but these customers tell us it's a nice start.
Los Angeles Rams, first down at the Minnesota 36-yard line as a result of that stirring run by Alvin Heyman. Roman Gabriel is back in the ball game. He's been repaired. And Gabriel is back to throw. Flips and delivers. It is complete to the tight end, Billy Truax, and he is dropped at the 31 by Lonnie Warwick, the middle linebacker.
That's what he's going to have to do more and more of. Don't you agree, Don? So does Quick Poppers.
Yeah, I think he will. He's got to establish something that's consistent. And Truax has not been used tonight, and he is a good receiver, or has been a consistent receiver for the Rams. Roman is back in there. Roman's their leader, and as they say, leaders are lonely, but they lead a good life. They've got to have Roman back in there. He's the guy they look to for leadership.
Second down 5, Los Angeles at the Minnesota 31. Lester Josephson. Second effort gets him to the 29. Mr. Page and Mr. Marshall, as you see, were there.
When you get back in that huddle and you look around, that rain's coming down all over you, and you see somebody like the Minnesota Vikings across from you, and you look back in your mind, you say, what have I got in my game plan? Well, you know your game plan's been hampered by the weather because you're not going to be able to do as many things effectively. So you got to think, how can I do it well and consistent? So you got to go to the things that you believe in: zone block, turn in, maybe a screen pass.
Third down. 3 yards to go for the Rams. At the Minnesota 29, Gabriel to throw. He dumps it to Larry Smith. Smith falls down at the 30, gets up, gets 1 yard to the 28, maybe the 27. He is short of the first down.
I'm not really pulling for anybody up here, but, you know, I hate to see athletes of this caliber really be hampered like this. And that was a great screen that was set up to the right side. And as Smith made his turn, his footing just went out from under him. And I don't know whether he made a first down or not. But they've got to do things like that to keep these drives going.
Well, they had to go to the 26-yard line to get the first down. From our angle, I would say the ball is short by at least a half a yard. But let's wait and see as the chain gang comes on. 7 minutes and 29 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Vikings are leading 10-0, and it's more like a full yard short, isn't it? Take another look at the play.
You see Roman, he's going to set up this screen pass, and what he's trying to do, of course, is make it look just like a pass downfield. Made a quick set. There was Smith, number 38, out in the secondary, and he just couldn't stay up on his feet. Number 60.
The Rams will go for it. David Ray is not in the ball game on 4th down and 1 from the 27. The Rams, trailing 10-0, frustrated in this rainy night and on this soggy field against the powerful Vikings, will try for the first down. Gabriel has it. Throws. It is caught by Billy Truax, and Billy Truax steps out of bounds down at the Minnesota 16-yard line.
As John Meredith knows, that was a great and gutsy call, and they learned their lesson trying for the short yardage against that purple gang earlier at the end of the last half.
I think this is really one of the most entertaining things in football. Gosh, you know, it's the 4th down. It's a big game. I like to see folks call plays like this. Truax, it's putting it all out on the line is what it's doing. Truax does his thing. Roman did his thing, so we'll see what happens. First down for the Rams.
Their third first down of the ball game. First down at the Minnesota 16. Mitch Johnson, number 70, in at tackle. Gabriel dumps it to Larry Smith. And Smith is knocked out of bounds by Roy Winston, number 60, who backed into the play. And then coming out of the secondary, after looping around, the middle linebacker, Lonnie Warwick.
we'll look this from the end zone, you'll see again, this is a very similar play that we looked at a while ago. Again, Roman sets up, but again, you see his offensive line swoop out to the right to set up in front of Larry Smith. This time he catches it, and instead of cutting back, he's going to try to go around. Winston does make a good move, plays off a block, comes in. Hilgebrand, number 89, also did a good job of closing that screen play off. You're not going to get anything cheap on these Vikings. They're well-skilled and good football players.
Give him 1 yard. A short yard. Make it 2nd down and 9 from about the 15. Tommy Mason in the backfield for Los Angeles. Pass into the end zone intended for Jack Snow is incomplete. Bobby Bryant was right there. Roman Gabriel now 8 out of 12 for 52 yards in his passing.
You know, when you have a broken nose, and I had about 8 or 10 of those things, and people used to ask me, how much do they affect you? They don't affect you that much, of course, unless there's a lot of swelling, which does occur sometimes in a broken nose, and you can't see. It impairs your vision. But they're painful. As it's real cold out there, which is not really that cold tonight, it makes it a little bit more difficult to breathe.
Bob Long is wide to the left. Snow split to the right. Mason, the white shirt in the backfield for the Los Angeles Rams on 3rd down and 9. Gabriel to throw, gets his pass away into the end zone. The intended receiver was Jack Snow. He slipped and was held up by Bobby Bryant. The pass is incomplete. It is 4th down. And now we get David Ray, number 27, in for the field goal try. David Ray, starting tonight, had a total of 49 points in scoring, the leading scorer for the Los Angeles Rams. Fred Cox has now moved into the lead in the National Football Conference with a total of 55, including the points tonight. Earl Mann Detroit has 53. And if David Ray is successful from the 23-yard line, he will have 52. Richie Pettibone, number 17, is going to hold. Richie, former quarterback from Tulane. Angle from the right hash mark, or the left as you look at it. And David Ray, who kicked a pressure-packed field goal last week for the Rams, is straight through the middle. 8 plays, 36 yards. We have a timeout here in Minnesota with a score now. The Minnesota Vikings 10, the Los Angeles Rams 3.
Introducing the world's second 747. The only 747 that doesn't fly. Hertz $7.47 a day rate. For $7.47 a day plus 10 cents a mile in gas, we'll rent you a Ford for a week, a weekend, or a holiday. If the Boeing 747 is revolutionizing travel in the air, who knows? The Hertz 747 may do it with a Ford on the ground.
Jones, Charlie West are deep for the Minnesota Vikings as David Ray sets to kick off for the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams getting on the board at 9:05, gone in the 3rd quarter, and the score is now 10-3. The rain still pelting down, and Ray hits it well. Knocks it down to the 1-yard line where Clint Jones picks it up. Look out, he's got a hole! And the last man, David Ray, was the one that really put the stopper on him. There's a very muddy shirt underneath him, though, and let's give some credit to Alvin Heyman, number 23.
You see Jones, who's got great acceleration. He's a big back. He's following that front 4 up there in front of him. He's trying to split the seams, which he does right here. Again, I think the field conditions dictate a run like this because you can't cut real well. He just ran right straight ahead. And David Ray was the last man.
And he brought it back 41 yards. Gary Quazzo, the quarterback. Bill Brown and Dave Osborne are the running backs. The Baby Bulls for Minnesota. Osborne, left side, beautiful hole. And Myron Patios gets the job done at the 45-yard line. A gain from the 42, make it 3 yards, second down 7 coming up.
The development of Clint Jones has been one of the happy things for the Minnesota Vikings. He came out of Michigan State, as you all know, a heralded football player, but didn't come on in his first couple of years. Now he is a key figure in that Minnesota attack, realizing upon all the potential he had at Michigan State.
Second down 7. Quazzo back to throw, throws, it is incomplete. It hit a Los Angeles Ram over there. The pass is intended for Osborne, and Gene Washington, the wide receiver, had slipped through there. Maxie Vaughn got a hand.
Take a look. You really didn't look this time when he threw. I wish maybe we had that one back. Maxie Vaughn, very experienced, number 55. You'll see it hit Maxie. He was kind of right in the hands, but yeah, that upset him. Bud Grant didn't like that either, I don't imagine. Mr. Sunshine himself right here this rainy day.
Quazzo now 5 for 9, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. Third down, they need 7. Short 7. Flipping through the middle comes number 41, Dave Osborne, and I think he picked up a first down as he took it all the way to the Los Angeles 48-yard line. He did.
Well, obviously, that's the type play that Minnesota would like to run because they're doing a couple of things. They're keeping that ball, they're moving it consistently, and they're not too far from field goal range. Another first down or so. If you put that thing up in the air on a day like today, anything can happen, and the Rams are notorious for interceptions. They either lead the league each year or right among the top in their interceptions because their defenses are so well coordinated.
Vikings have 10 first downs in the ball game so far. Bill Brown, 45, down to the 44. David Jones, Deacon Jones, the tackle. The Johnny Cash Show, Wednesday night at 9, 8 Central Time here on ABC. His guests, Louis Armstrong and Tennessee Ernie Ford. Need I say anymore? The Johnny Cash Show. Coming up on ABC, Wednesday night at 9 Eastern Time. Second down 7. Ball at the 44. Minnesota owns it. Los Angeles territory. Bill Brown again. Fumble! Rams have got it. No, Minnesota recovers it. One of the Rams had his hands on it, but Gene Washington, wide receiver, came back and got the football. And Clancy Williams had it for a split second. So the Vikings fumbled their way to a first down that time. Ball will be put down at the Los Angeles 36. Rain pelting down. Rain throughout the game. Quazzo, Osborne. He's having a good night. Dave Osborne bounces and tumbles inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
You saw where they ran that play, Donald. Right through the Deacon and Maryland.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from the Deacon tonight. Deacon was telling me he was a little concerned because last week they went outside him. He says, I'm going to be playing for that. Since they saw that film, they're going to try to come outside me. Well, they did again right then, but this is the kind of field, again, it's not the best kind of field for Deacon to play on. He relies on his quickness more than he does his strength.
Osborne, 18 carries, 53 yards, second down, long 3, Bill Brown, brute strength, full power, straight ahead, close to the first down.
You know, they kid old Bill Brown here in Minnesota about being so bow-legged, and this him in the program is 5'11". He says, you know, if I get my legs straightened out, I'd be 6'4" like fullbacks are supposed to be. He does pretty good at 5'11", you know.
Fellas, a quick report on that fight in Atlanta. They've gone through 3 rounds, and the only apparent damage done thus far, this is by way of verbal report to us directly, telephonically to ringside at Atlanta, is a cut over Jerry Quarry's left eye, but Jerry in no apparent trouble at the moment. That is a verbal, telephonic report to us.
Vikings have 12 first down. The ball is now at the Los Angeles 26-yard line. 1 minute and 46 seconds to play in the third quarter. Minnesota leading by a score of 10-3 in this big one in the National Football Conference. Minnesota Vikings have to win to retain their share of leadership in the Central Division, along with the Detroit Lions, whom they play next week. Dave Osborne, and he gets it to about the 25.
Revised estimate, gentlemen. The fight is over. Stopped. Quarry did not come out for round 4. The fight stopped because of the cut registered over his left eye by Muhammad Ali, who returned for the first time in 3.5 years to ring action tonight in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice to have him off the unemployed rolls. Ball is on the 25. Second down, 9. The Rams, 25. Vikings have the ball. Henderson, wide right. Washington, wide left. They stay with the ground game. Bill Brown hits into about the 23-yard line. There he is slapped down by Deacon Jones.
And a quick repeat. Report to us. The fight stopped. Cut over Quarry's left eye. Did not come out for the 4th round. And a reminder, this Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, you'll see the Muhammad Ali, Jerry Quarry heavyweight fight from Atlanta, Georgia. Be sure to consult your local listings for the time of Wide World in your area this coming Saturday.
Third down, a long 7 yards for Minnesota. Ball is on the Los Angeles 23, and we have gone through 3 quarters. At the end of the third period, our score reads: the Minnesota Vikings 10, the Los Angeles Rams 3.
Bob Hope joins Danny Thomas on Make Room for Granddaddy Wednesday night.
We are ready to go to the final 15 minutes of this premier contest between the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are leading by a score of 10-3. They own the football. They have had 47 offensive plays in this game compared to 31 for the Rams after 3 quarters. The ball is down at the Los Angeles 23-yard line. Third down and 7. A single touchdown separating these two giants in professional football. A big play here for Minnesota. Bill Brown, straight ahead power. He's down to about the 18. It'll be short of the first down. They've got to go to the 16 to get it. It's going to bring up 4th down, and Fred Cox is coming on the field goal unit for Minnesota. So Fred Cox, who has totaled 55 points so far in this season, is on the field. Paul Krause, the free safety, is the man who holds for him. He has kicked 13 field goals and 16 extra points this year. It's from the 26-yard line. It is good. And we have a timeout here at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, with the Minnesota Vikings now leading the Los Angeles Rams 13-3.
Last year, Zenith brought you Chromacolor, the color TV picture that outperformed every giant screen color TV before Chromacolor. Now, Zenith brings you Compact Chromacolor, a big 19-inch picture in a compact cabinet.
I've got just the place for it.
New Compact Chromacolor, Chromacolor. Only Zenith has it.
When your battery finally goes under the weather, don't be surprised if the car you flagged down has a Sears diehard. The diehard with bigger plates for more power. Extra starting power to start your car when most batteries won't. Get the diehard. Sold only at Sears.
Fred Cox will kick off for the Minnesota Vikings, and you can clearly see how hard the rain is falling here in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Vikings getting the points. Alvin Heyman deep. When you come downfield, you're in position, always get your points. Both coaches preach that. George Allen for the Rams, Bud Grant for Minnesota. Alvin Heyman, number 23, from the 5-yard line. He is back to the 25, and he loses his footing. A penalty flag on the field, or is it? Let's see. Alvin Heyman, who had averaged 33 yards per kickoff return, one of the most exciting performers in the game this year. They will bring it back, apparently, and re-kick. So while we're waiting for the ball to be placed, take a look at the third quarter statistics, or the stats through the third quarter. They will move it back to the 35-yard line, where the Minnesota Vikings will re-kick. And Howard, do you have any more information about the fight?
We'll get to that in just a moment, but the Vikes did exactly what they wanted in their last drive. They consumed 6 minutes and 10 seconds. 10 plays for 58 yards. Ball control is their bag.
Fourth round, fight stop, Muhammad Ali. The winner, Jerry Quarry, cut over the eye. You'll see it next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sport. Alvin Heyman, again the deep man for the Los Angeles Rams. Vikings, illegal procedure, will kick off from their 35. 14:06 to go in the ball game. The Vikings leading 13-3. Cox hits it. It's high, and it may go out of bounds. Squibbs, and Heyman lets it alone, and it does trickle out of bounds. So Minnesota will kick it again, and they will probably kick it from the 30-yard line.
That could hurt Minnesota on a situation like this. When you have to kick the ball over again, it's been pointed out, or it's been proved out, I guess, in the past, that a lot of big plays occur after you've kicked once and come back and kick again for one reason or another. The guys are maybe let down a little bit on that second attempt. This time we have the third attempt, so it possibly could make a difference.
Bud Grant talking to his kicker, Fred Cox. The Vikings getting 7 in the first quarter, 3 in the second quarter. The Rams got on the board with a field goal in the third quarter. The Vikings have added 3 here in the fourth quarter. They lead 13-3, and we have 13:58 to play in the game.
You know, as Keith pointed out earlier, we have old Dan August up here in the press box with us, and it's a nice feeling on a rainy day like this to have your own policeman, a nice-looking, clean-cut kid. Nicest-looking policeman you could ever want your kid to grow up and be like. Did you know it? Bert, it's good to have you. Bert's back up there watching this thing. He's nice and dry.
Dan August series, of course, on ABC. Here's Fred Cox. This time Fred gets all of it, hits it good, and it goes down to the 10-yard line. And it is Willie Ellison bringing it back to the 29-yard line.
Well, they got out of that all right, John.
Yeah, they really did.
That was the third kick. But there is the flag on the play.
And if they have to kick this one over, and they, I believe, you think they're kicking from the goal line in a little while, this could really hurt them.
No, this is just a 15-yard.
Oh, it's against the other folks. Must have been piling on.
Very quickly on that fight, Tony Perez was the referee. He stopped the fight between rounds. The cut apparently extremely severe. Jerry Quarry violently charged into the ring.
So the personal foul penalty puts the ball up at the 44-yard line. First down, Los Angeles at the Rams 44. Roman Gabriel is the quarterback, and Gabe back to throw. He looks and throws deep. It may be intercepted. It is picked off by Paul Kraft. The intended receiver, Jack Snow, made the tackle. The pass got away from Gabriel. He threw it well over the head of the intended receiver, and the Vikings have intercepted Gabriel for the 4th time tonight. Minnesota's ball, 1st and 10 at their own 15.
As this replay comes up, Don, You never panic in the face of a zone, do you?
Well, you really shouldn't. Of course, this one's just overthrown a little bit, and Krause is back there. That's his job. They call him the center fielder of football, and he's really done that well. If he stays on his pace that he's been in the last few years in football, he's going to break all kinds of records in pass interceptions. Paul Krause, number 22.
Gary Quazzo, the Minnesota quarterback. The running backs are Osborne and Brown. They've been doing the bulk of the work here tonight. And the play again hammers into the middle with Bill Brown, number 30, carrying. And he got a yard. Coming up this Saturday, NCAA college football on ABC. Regional action, California, USC, Nebraska, Colorado. And a note about Nebraska, Colorado. The stations in the eastern part of the country originally scheduled for the California USC game will see instead Nebraska, Colorado. The Cornhuskers, fourth ranked nationally and really rolling along. Other games, South Carolina, Georgia, Holy Cross, Buffalo. Check your local listings for the game in your area. 2nd down and 9 for the Vikings from their own 16-yard line. Quazzo gives it to Dave Osborne, and Dave is dropped right about the line of scrimmage. Myron Patios, number 66, anchored him.
I remember now what I was thinking about when I saw about Paul Krause. He's played 7 years of pro football and has 43, that last one being 44 interceptions. And it says if he maintains that interception pace, he could break the NFL career mark, which is 79 interceptions by Emlyn Pinnell.
Dave Osborne's carried 20 times in the game, 54 yards. Bill Brown 15 times for 50 yards. Of course, Bill Brown has a game ball tucked away because he has tonight passed the 5,000-yard mark. 13th man NFL history to do it. It's 3rd down, 8 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings. Dave Osborne with the ball, slipping over the right side. He's up to the 24, close to the 1st down. But short of it. Eddie Metter, number 21, made the tackle along with Richie Pettibone. And so the punting team comes on the field. Tom McNeil, number 12, the man who will kick it. Jim Lindsay, number 21, come running on the field with the kicking team. And Mr. Lindsay has made 3 sharp tackles tonight. One of them saved a touchdown at the conclusion of the first half when the Rams were denied at the goal line. McNeil gets it away with pressure. Alvin Heyman backing up on a good kick, fumbles the ball. Vikings may have it.
I believe the Rams got it. That was a good alert play.
Kermit Alexander, number 39. Alexander, the man who slid under and picked it off for the Rams. We have a timeout here in Bloomington, Minnesota. Our score in the 4th quarter, Vikings 13, Rams 3.
One Schick Super Chromium blade just shaved these 17 professional barbers. Mr. Politi, did you shave this morning with a Schick Super Chromium blade?
Yes, I did. I was number 12, and I had a very nice shave.
Well, what number were you, Mr. Rose?
I was number 13, and it was clean and smooth.
Mr. Vinegar, you shaved with the same Schick Super Chromium blade?
Yes, I was the 15th one to shave, and it was surprisingly smooth.
Good. I see barber number 17 is just finishing his shave. Let's talk to him. You were number 17, Mr.
Estrin.
How was the shave?
Well, I never would have believed it. It was a nice, close, comfortable shave.
Now then, here's that blade. Schick Super Chromium with a pure chromium edge. One blade, 17 comfortable shaves.
Because the blade in your razor delivers 17 comfortable shaves, Schick Chronochrome, the super chromium blade that fights corrosion. You've got to feel it to believe it.
Next Monday night on ABC, from Pittsburgh, Three River Stadium, Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, we watch the Los Angeles Rams, 1st down from their own 32-yard line. Vikings 13, Rams 3. The handoff to Tommy Mason, a former Viking. And Tommy is up to the 37-yard line for 4.
Tommy's had a great career in football. It's been hampered a lot by injuries. He was actually the first Minnesota Vikings drafted out of the college ranks at LSU. Had a splendid career here at Minnesota and has done a very good job at Los Angeles.
Josephson shifting off the eye. Gabriel gives it again to Tommy Mason. And Tom is up close to the 44-yard line, and that will be a Los Angeles first down. Wally Hilgenberg, number 58. Jim Marshall, number 70, defensively for Minnesota.
Mason's actually from Tulane, not LSU. I went to SMU. He didn't go there.
There's a lot of greenies.
I'm sorry, Tulane fans. I'm sorry. He also plays the guitar, and he can't be all that bad.
First down Rams at their own 44. Roman Gabriel, who had a bloody nose, had to leave the game. Back in, still the same sturdy oak of a quarterback he's always been. Lester Josephson, load up, fumble, and the Rams recover the ball. It jumped right into the hands of Charlie Cowan, number 73.
Can you imagine what a shock that is to Cowan as he turns around his block? Sees that ball float right in his hand. They picked up 5 yards.
On their 6th fumble, they've lost 3.
You don't get that much rain in Los Angeles.
Well, Jack Teal said before the game started, we've come to Minnesota now, and the last 3 times it's been snow, snow, and rain. Second down and 6. The ball is at the 47-yard line, 48-yard line. Tommy Mason trying to follow Charlie Cowan. He gets it up close to midfield. Allen, nope, it's Gary Larson, number 77. Call it midfield. They've got to go to the Minnesota 46, just inside the 46 to get the first down. It'll be third down along 4. Bob Long, number 86, coming wide to the right. Jack Snow is wide to the left. Gabe asking for the towel. Everything is wet, including me. Gabriel now 8 for 14 passing, 52 yards. Back to throw here. Looking. He's going to run it. Hilgenberg. Page. It's Alan Page, number 88, that got in. That Minnesota secondary has done quite a job tonight.
I don't really know how fast Alan Page is on a 40-yard dash, but Roman Gabriel runs about a 5 flat. You'll see Page, he's playing off his block. He sees Roman coming out of the backfield, and here he takes off. He didn't have to run 40 yards, but man, look at that stride. Roman's not slow. They called him down there.
Fourth down and a long yard for the Rams. Les Josephson, he's got the first down at the Minnesota 44.
Don just mentioned that Page didn't even have to run 40 yards, and he mentioned Gabriel is running the 40-yard sprint in 5 flat. Actually, George Allen is different from most coaches. He doesn't have his players sprint. He fears that sprints produce muscle pulls. He has them do the 40-yard stride. But football is a 40-yard game, and that's why they use the 40-yard measurement. We'll explain that more fully later.
Ken Iman snaps to Roman Gabriel. Gave back to throw. Throws to the sideline. The pass is incomplete. As Bob Bryant came over, hit Jack Snow. At the same time, the ball arrived, and it drops out of bounds.
There's 2 things here. Let's take a look at Roman. Number 1, when the ball is as wet as it is and heavy, you'll see Roman throw a little bit different. You see Snow run a... See, he's kind of shot-putting that ball a little bit. You can't get nearly the zip on it as you can when you got a good dry ball. That ball hit Snow kind of right in the numbers, but he took a little bump from the back by Bob Bryant. Incompleted pass. We'll try it again.
Second down, 10. Rams ball, Minnesota 44. Pass is intended for Bob Long. Ed Shirachman right there.
I guess the strongest thing about a zone, you'll see all those purple shirts back in there. They got 7 people back there. They believe in that front four. They let them rush the passer. They let them put the pressure on Roman, and they've been doing that very well. They go back into these areas. They can drop those linebackers back as deep, well, much deeper than, let's say, if they were covering on a man-to-man situation. it makes it difficult to actually find a guy that's going to be wide open. You got to zip that ball, and when you can't zip it because of one reason or another, it does cause you some problems.
Middle linebacker Lonnie Warwick had also dropped off, and he actually had a fairly good chance at intercepting. Third down 10, Rams, Minnesota 44. Gabe hit by Marshall and gets his pass away anyway, which is one of the redeeming qualities of him. Tommy Mason, the man closest to it, and Wally Hilgenberg really zinged him, but the pass is no good.
We'll take a look from the slow-mo. Roman's making a slight fake in there. He's actually going to roll, it looked like. Had good pressure from the outside by Larson and Page. You see the other big boys coming in. Eller, number 81, as he came in. Just never had a chance to set up and throw.
Fourth down and 10. Los Angeles from the Minnesota 44, and David Ray, number 27, is in. Number 70 is Mitch Johnson. Number 80 is Bob Klein. Johnson a tackle, and Klein a tight end. They're in to block. Richie Pettibone, number 17, is going to put it down, and David Ray is going to bite himself off quite a chunk here because he is going to try a field goal from the Los Angeles. Well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say the 48-yard line. It'll be 52 yards. It's fake. Pettibone up with it. Former quarterback from Tulane trying to get around the corner. Cannot do it. He's run out of bounds, well short of the first down. Minnesota takes over, 1st and 10 at their own 41, and Carl Eller was the man who knocked him out.
They were looking for that, John.
Yeah.
NFL Monday Night Football from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The rain pelting down. The Minnesota Vikings lead the Los Angeles Rams 13-3, fourth quarter.
There have never been so many better ideas available on four wheels as the 1971 Ford Country Squire. The three-way magic door gate. Works even with the window up. The rear window washer. Lockable storage compartment. Dual-facing rear seats. Power door locks. Tilt steering wheel. Hidden windshield wipers. In wagons, nobody flips, tilts, pops. Nobody swings like Ford, the Wagon Master. Nobody. Ford gives you better ideas.
Coming up Saturday on ABC, NCAA college football, regional games, California, USC, Nebraska, Colorado, South Carolina, Georgia, whole across Buffalo. Check your local listing for the game in your area. And on ABC's Wide World of Sports, you'll see Muhammad Ali's victory over Jerry Quarry in their heavyweight fight from Atlanta, Georgia. That's coming up Saturday on ABC. At the 41-yard line, the Minnesota Vikings have the ball. Gary Quazzo has thrown only one time in the second half. 6:13 to play in the ball game, and Dave Osborne has it, and he gets 2 yards. Byron Patios made the stop for Los Angeles.
The Vikes are now playing steadily with two tight ends, Keith. They played the last two series when they had the ball last with number 87, Beasley, and number 89, Kramer, and they're doing it again. Purpose, of course, obvious. Better blocking, stand the ground as much as possible, and execute ball control while trying to run out the clock.
Second down, 8 yards to go from their own 43 for the Vikings. Leading 13-3. Bill Brown is to the 46-yard line before Deacon Jones puts him away. It'll be third down and 5 for Minnesota at their own 46. Clock running, 5:08 to play in the game. Osborne sweeps to the right. Richie Pettibone, out of the secondary, drops him back at the 42-yard line. So the Ram defense holds, and Minnesota will have to kick it away. If the Rams should lose, and that's Alvin Heyman going back deep, their record would be 4-2. They would drop into second place in the Western Division of the National Football Conference, behind San Francisco, whose record is 4-1-1. Minnesota, if they win, will share leadership in the Central Division with Detroit at 5-1, and they play next Sunday. The Rams will go to New Orleans next Sunday. Tom McNeil, the punt for the Vikings. 4:05 remaining to play. Good kick, considering the weather. High, and Heyman at the 26. And Heyman is down right about there in his tracks. Hit by number 63, Jim Valone, for Minnesota. Don't forget the Johnny Cash Show. Big one tomorrow night, or Wednesday night, 9 Central Time, 8 Central Time, and 9 Eastern Time on ABC. Johnny Cash will have Ernie Ford and Louis Armstrong as his guests. First down. Los Angeles at their own 27-yard line. Gabriel back to throw. Throws to Tommy Mason. Mason is grabbed at the 28. Wally Hilgenberg made the tackle for Minnesota.
Tom got that white jersey dirty in a hurry, didn't he?
Heller, Page, Larson, and Marshall along the front line for Minnesota. Gabriel back to throw, unloads it. It's too high, intended for Bob Long, number 86, out of bounds. Hilgenberger, linebacker over there, along with Ed Schrockman. There is that precious commodity, time.
John, you talked about the efficiency of that Minnesota zone defense earlier. It's so designed as to get the most out of every individual in that backfield. For instance, the Vikings know, and so does Los Angeles, that Schrockman no longer has speed, but he's a wise 10-year veteran. And the way he's deployed in the zone, he gets maximum effect.
On 3rd down and 9, Gabriel to throw. Throws for Snow. Sideline, incomplete. Off his hands, Bryant defending for Minnesota. So it is 4th down for Los Angeles, and they'll have to give it up with 3:02 to play in the ball game, and it's been a total night of frustration for big number 18, Roman Gabriel, who is now 9 for 20, 53 yards.
There's no question about that, Keith. He must feel about the way he described himself in his new book, Player of the Year, after losing the title game to Minnesota a year ago. This is 3 straight times, 20-13, 23-20, and now they trail 13-3.
Pat Studstill, number 28, to punt. Bob Grimm, 27. Charlie West, 40. Deep for Minnesota. 3:02 to play. Studstill wants to run, wants to throw. Pass is thrown downfield, intended for number 19, Jim Nettles, and it is incomplete. And now with 2:54 to play in the ball game, the Minnesota Vikings will take over the ball, first down at the Los Angeles 27. The Vikings used 2 minutes and 17 seconds in their last series, so let's see how much of the clock they can gobble up this time.
It's been a fine, strong, opportunistic game by Minnesota. George Allen again, dispirited, and you can understand it under the circumstances. They used fumbles, recovered them to their advantage. They made the big pass play for a TD when they needed it. They've dominated.
Brown and Osborne are the setbacks for Quazzo, and it goes to Bill Brown, and he just jumps in the middle of the line. And there is the head man of the Vikings. Minnesota's picked up 135 yards rushing so far in this ball game. The gain on the play for Bill Brown. Call it 2 yards, 2nd down 8. Next Monday night, we go to Pittsburgh, Three River Stadium, for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be in Milwaukee for the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Colts. That game will mean something. Indeed it will. One of the great matches in the history of professional football. Dave Osborne is tripped behind the line of scrimmage, but Is away, and he is finally knocked down back around the 30-yard line. Eddie Metter and Richie Pettibone are the men who make the stop. So we have timeout right now as we come to 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Our score, the Minnesota Vikings 13, the Los Angeles Rams 3.
Billy Hardwick. The man has won more professional tournaments in 1 year than any other bowler in history. Billy puts it this way. You've got to have real desire and dedication about anything you do if you're going to do it right. It's the same with Miller High Life. We've dedicated over 115 years to brewing the best beer there is. Miller makes it right.
While most of you like the taste of Benson & Hedges 100s, some of you really appreciate the 3, 4, maybe even 5 moments more they give you. Maybe even 5 moments more than king size.
The busiest man offensively for the Minnesota Vikings tonight has been David Osborne. You see the totals on him. He has 57 yards. Bill Brown has carried 17 times for 55 yards.
And the playing conditions, as you can all see now, just dreadful. They've been terribly difficult all night.
John Henderson, wide receiver, is back in the game. Vikings ball, 3rd down and 12 from the 30-yard line. The play goes up the middle on 3rd down. It moves from the 30 up to the 26, obviously short of the 1st down.
Gary Collazo, I think, has done an excellent job tonight in calling this ball game. He's thrown only 9 times and completed 5 of those, as you can see. But it's the way you run your team out there has a lot to do with how the rest of your ball club is going to react to you. And he's made some good calls. He's kept the ball moving. They have eaten up the time.
The Rams called that timeout to stop the clock with 1 minute and 49 seconds to play. The Rams are down by 10. They have 2 times out left. Gary Quazzo on the sideline talking to his coach, Bud Grant. It is 4th down and 8 yards to go from the 25-yard line, the Los Angeles 25. So Minnesota leading by 10, not going for the 3 points on 4th and 8. .149 to play. Quazzo Osborne, and Osborne disappears into the middle of the line, gets it to about the 23-yard line, and there the Rams will take it, 1st and 10. And the statistics on Bill Brown, who tonight became the 13th player in NFL history to gain more than 5,000 yards in his career.
Billy Boom Boom. He's a good one.
Now the Rams will go to work. Minnesota obviously adjusting into a prevent defense. Here's the pitch out to Tommy Mason. And Mason from the 20.
.123 to go in this ball game. Now we're down to 120 as the clock runs out.
2nd down, 2 yards to go for Los Angeles. Gabriel to throw. Pressure's on him, loses the ball, and Minnesota recovers it. Carl Eller has the football. At the Los Angeles 23-yard line, and only 1:07 left to play.
Well, this is about the only thing I can think of. It hadn't happened to him yet. We look, Roman, he's going back trying to set up the pass. As he raises the ball up to throw, it just slips out of his hand. He couldn't get his feet under him in time to come back. Carl Eller was rushing and fell on it, so the Vikings have recovered it. And that pretty well cooked their goose.
Rams have fumbled 7 times tonight, lost 4. And despondent Roman Gabriel on the sideline. First down, Minnesota. Rams 23. Bill Brown. He's close to the 20-yard line. Rams spend another timeout. 41 seconds remaining in the game.
Muhammad Ali, as you all know, won his fight tonight in Atlanta. His return to the ring after 3.5 years of inactivity, barring only those exhibition matches some weeks ago in Atlanta. And there you see Jerry Quarry as we bring you a scene direct from Atlanta the way it happened with Johnny Addy giving the result. A severe cut over the eye stopped this fight. Tony Perez, the referee, was the man who stopped it. And reminder again, you'll see this fight this Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Now back to the game. And
second down and 6 for Minnesota at about the Rams' 20-yard line. And again, Minnesota just keeps the ball inside. And the play goes to about the 17-yard line.
As you said earlier, John, you're not rooting for anybody, but for a player so great through all the years and of the stature of Roman Gabriel, you have to feel sorry for him as we look at the clock with 37 seconds left for the frustrations he's experienced tonight, particularly at that crucial point at the end of the first half when twice in a row on the quarterback keeper he couldn't get the ball in.
I think they call it empathy, but I know exactly how that fellow feels standing right there. You're looking at it on your camera, and he doesn't feel good.
Third down, Vikings need about 2.5, 3 yards for the first down. Quazzo takes the snap and keeps it on third down to get the clock moving again. The Los Angeles Rams have no more timeouts remaining. They've spent them all here. It'll be fourth down and 2 yards to go for Minnesota, or fourth and a yard and a half. And 20 seconds to play. Now the Vikings can run out the clock. Minnesota, 5-1 on the season. The Los Angeles Rams, 4-2. Our spotter tonight, Ron Cadwell, statistics by Arthur Friedman. The clock running, the crowd roaring, 5 seconds. The Vikings starting to leave the field, as you see. And the ball game is over. The final score, the Minnesota Vikings 13, Los Angeles Rams 3. We'll be back in a minute.
Now, a new stunted Town & Country winter tire you can put on all 4 wheels of your car to really improve your stopping ability on ice. With just 2 new Firestone Town & Country studded tires on the rear, you still stop. And you've stopped a lot quicker than with just 2 ordinary studded winter tires on the rear. Firestone's new asymmetrical Town & Country tire with 112 safety studs, available where laws permit, gives us more reasons than ever to say you go through ice, mud, or snow, or we pay the toll.
If anybody tells you that ordinary snow tires are as good as Firestone's new asymmetrical Town & Country's, tell him he's all wet.
Look for the new asymmetrical Town & Country winter tire from Firestone, the mileage specialist.
A long night for the mud-covered Los Angeles Rams as their quarterback Roman Gabriel leads them off the field. And once again, our final score here in Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings 13, the Los Angeles Rams 3. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. NFL Monday Night Football produced and directed by Chet Forte. Co-produced by Jim Feeney and Dennis Lewin. Co-directed by Lou Bopicelli. Associate Director Lou Frederick. Technical Directors Joe Morris and Jack Hughes. This Saturday, be sure to be tuned to ABC's Wide World of Sports for former heavyweight champion Cassius Clay's return to the ring. The Cassius Clay Jerry Quarry heavyweight fight. Consult your local listings for the time. Next week, NFL Monday Night Football travels to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the battle between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. NFL Monday Night Football every week at 9 Eastern Time. And now this is Keith Jackson along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith saying so long from Bloomington, Minnesota. Travel arrangements and promotional considerations for tonight's game furnished by United, the airline that flies 23 of the 26 NFL teams. Portions of the preceding program pre-recorded.
The Combo, Louis Armstrong and Johnny Cash doing Blue Yodel number 9. Watch the Johnny Cash Show with Satchmo, Tennessee Ernie Ford in the first edition, Wednesday night at 9, 8 Central Time.